Video for questions 45 through 48. Base your answers to questions 45 through 48 on the map below, which shows the position of the jet stream relative to two air masses and a low pressure center over the United States. Number 45. In which layer of the atmosphere is this jet stream located? This is a reference table question, of course. If you don't know this off the top of your head, let's go to the reference table, though. Look at this. Planetary wind belts in the troposphere. So what do you think the answer is here? Okay, it's going to be troposphere. If you come down here, everything, all these winds in this image are all in the troposphere. Okay, so if you come up here, it shows that it's the lowest layer on Earth, and it's tropopause, so it's everything below there. The correct answer to this is pretty simple, and it is troposphere. Number 46. What is the difference in air temperature and humidity between the CP, or continental polar, and the MT, maritime tropical air masses? The best way to remember, and this is in the reference table too, but the best way to remember these is that air masses are just like wherever they form. So if it's continental polar, well, continents don't have water, so it's going to be dry. And if it's polar, it's going to be cold. MT, maritime, means it's formed over water, it's going to be wet. And tropical, it's going to be hot. So if we look at the answers, if you look at number 1, it says the continental polar air mass is warmer and less humid. No, continental polar is cold and dry. 2, the continental air mass is colder and more humid. Okay, well, it's colder because it's definitely polar, but it is not more humid. It's less humid. It has less moisture in the air. Number 3 says maritime air mass is warmer and more humid. Well, that sounds right. Maritime means more humid, and tropical means warmer. Okay, so that looks like it's the correct answer. Let's look at number 4, though, and just make sure that's not it. The maritime tropical air mass is colder and less humid. Well, we said maritime meant more humid, so the correct answer has to be and is number 3. 47. What is the general movement of the surface winds around the center of this low pressure area? Well, the first thing that you should recognize from this is that pressure always blows from high to low. So it's definitely going to be counterclockwise inward or clockwise inward. Okay, right away you can cross out 1 and 3. They're definitely not the correct answers. Now, this is in the northern hemisphere, and what we should know is that they move counterclockwise and inward for low pressure systems. Always, always, always counterclockwise and inward for low pressure systems. And the complete opposite for high pressure systems is clockwise and away from high pressure systems. So, the trick is really just to remember high pressure, it's moving away from it, and it's moving clockwise, or the same way the clock moves. Or you remember that low pressure is counterclockwise, the opposite way of a clock, and it moves towards it. Number 48. Assuming the low pressure center L follows the typical storm track, it will move. Well, if we look up here, remember, always look at the map and see what they're looking at. That L right there is asking where it's going to move. Now, I've seen this question before without the jet stream, actually, as well. They'll ask you, which direction will the storm move? And they always place it right down in the south, typically. Usually a little more west, actually, maybe over more like the Mississippi River area, and they're going to ask you where it's going to go. So it's asking where it's actually going to move. Now, they kind of give you a little tip here, because they give you the jet stream, and it does follow the jet stream. So the correct answer is number 3, towards the northeast. But a lot of you probably know this. If you've ever watched news, and you've seen the weather on the news, or even on the internet, or however you look at your weather, It pretty much follows the same path always. It starts out west, it takes a little swing down south a little bit, and then comes up and hits us. So all the weather always moves from west to east, and it always goes up that east coast for us.